Have you ever stopped to wonder about sleep? This state we spend a third of our lives in, a daily surrender to unconsciousness. It feels so familiar, so automatic, yet it's one of the greatest mysteries in all of biology. Why do we do it? Why does every complex animal on Earth, from the fruit fly to the blue whale, need to sleep? What happens when we drift off, and what is the real story behind this nightly ritual? It's a journey that takes us back to the dawn of life itself, a story woven into our very DNA. Let's travel back in time, billions of years ago. Our earliest single-celled ancestors didn't sleep, not in the way we understand it, but they did have cycles. They had periods of activity, usually when sunlight was available for photosynthesis or when food was abundant, and periods of rest. This was the most basic form of a biological clock, a rhythm dictated by the planet's rotation. Light and dark, activity and rest. This simple, ancient dance was the first verse in the epic poem of sleep. As life became more complex, these simple rest cycles evolved. Organisms developed specialized cells, then nervous systems, and with a nervous system comes a brain, and a brain needs to sleep. But why? What's the point of shutting down for hours, leaving yourself vulnerable and unproductive? For centuries, scientists thought sleep was just a passive state, a time when the body simply powered down to conserve energy. It made sense, right? Resting saves calories. But this explanation always felt incomplete. The energy saved during 8 hours of sleep is surprisingly small, about the same as what you'd find in a piece of toast. Surely nature wouldn't have us risk being eaten by a predator just to save a slice of bread's worth of energy. The real reason, we now know, is far more profound and fascinating. Sleep isn't a state of inactivity. It's a period of intense, crucial activity for the brain. Imagine your brain is a bustling city that's active 24/7. During the day, it's rush hour. Neurons are firing, signals are zipping back and forth, memories are being formed, and problems are being solved. This intense activity creates a lot of, well, metabolic waste. Think of it as the city's daily trash. If this waste isn't cleared out, it builds up and starts to clog the system, leading to what we call brain fog and eventually serious neurological problems. So, what happens when you fall asleep? The city enters a special overnight maintenance mode. Recent discoveries have shown that during sleep, the spaces between our brain cells actually expand. This allows a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid to wash through the brain. Like a power washing crew cleaning the city's streets, clearing out all the toxic byproducts, including proteins like beta amyloid, which is famously linked to Alzheimer's disease. So, sleep isn't just rest, it's the brain's essential sanitation service. But the brain isn't just cleaning house, it's also acting as a masterful archivist and editor. Throughout the day, you absorb a staggering amount of information. Every conversation, every sight, every new skill you try to learn is temporarily stored in a part of your brain called the hippocampus, which is like the brain's short-term memory inbox. It has a limited capacity and it gets full pretty quickly. When you sleep, your brain gets to work sorting through this inbox. It replays the day's events, deciding what's important enough to keep and what can be discarded. The important memories, the new skills, the crucial facts are transferred from the hippocampus to the cortex, the brain's long-term storage hard drive. This process, called memory consolidation, is why a good night's sleep is so critical for learning. Have you ever struggled with a problem, gone to bed, and woken up with the solution? That's your sleeping brain at work, reorganizing information and forging new connections that your waking mind couldn't see. And then, there's the wild theater of our dreams. For thousands of years, we've tried to interpret them. Were they messages from the gods? Glimpses into the future? The ramblings of an idle mind? We now believe dreaming, particularly during the stage called REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, serves a powerful psychological function. REM sleep is when our most vivid, bizarre, and emotionally charged dreams occur. During this stage, our brain is incredibly active. almost as active as when we're awake. However, a key chemical, noradrenaline, our stress molecules, completely shut off. This unique chemical state allows our brain to process emotional experiences and difficult memories in a safe environment without the associated stress. It's like a form of overnight therapy. It strips the painful emotional charge from traumatic events, allowing us to wake up the next day feeling a little better, a little more able to cope. It helps us regulate our emotions and maintain our mental well-being. So, we have cleaning, memory consolidation, and emotional regulation. But how did our human ancestors sleep? Before comfy mattresses and blackout curtains, sleep was a very different experience. Imagine being a hunter-gatherer on the African savanna. Sleeping for 8 uninterrupted hours would be a death sentence. Instead, our ancestors likely slept in shorter bursts, often in groups. This is called polyphasic sleep. Someone was always on watch, listening for the snap of a twig or the scent of a predator. The group's safety depended on this staggered sleep schedule. Fires were also crucial, not just for warmth, but for keeping predators at bay and providing a sense of security that allowed for deeper, more restorative rest. This ancient need for safety while we sleep is still wired into us. Have you ever found it hard to sleep in a new place? That's the first night effect, a remnant of our ancestral brains staying partially alert to potential dangers in an unfamiliar environment. As societies evolved, so did our relationship with sleep. With the rise of agriculture, our schedules became more tied to the sun. We rose at dawn to work the fields and went to bed not long after sunset. But the real revolution, or perhaps devastation for sleep, came with the invention of artificial light. Suddenly, we were no longer bound by the natural cycle of day and night. Thomas Edison, who famously boasted he only needed 4 hours of sleep, gave us the light bulb, and with it, the 24-hour society. Factories could run all night. Entertainment was available late into the evening, and the night became a new frontier for work and play. Sleep started to be seen not as a biological necessity, but as an inconvenience, a waste of precious time that could be spent being productive. In the 20th and 21st centuries, this sleep is for the weak mentality became a cultural badge of honor. We began to wage a war on sleep, powered by caffeine and ambition. But we are now waking up to the consequences. An enormous body of research has revealed the devastating effects of chronic sleep deprivation. When we don't sleep enough, every single aspect of our health suffers. Our immune system weakens, making us more susceptible to illness. Our risk for chronic conditions like heart disease, diabetes, and obesity skyrockets. Our mental health deteriorates, leading to increased rates of anxiety and depression. Our cognitive function plummets. Our attention, decision-making, and creativity are all severely impaired. A sleep-deprived brain is an underperforming brain. In fact, after just one night of poor sleep, our performance can be as impaired as if we were legally drunk. We've spent a century trying to conquer the night, only to discover that we were really just conquering ourselves, and not in a good way. Today, we stand at a turning point. We are in the midst of a sleep renaissance. We're finally beginning to understand and respect the profound power of sleep. Wearable technology tracks our sleep stages. Apps offer guided meditations, and the concept of sleep hygiene has entered the mainstream. We're relearning what our ancestors knew instinctively, that sleep is not an enemy to be fought, but a fundamental pillar of health, happiness, and vitality, just as important as diet and exercise. The story of sleep is the story of life itself, story of rhythm, restoration, and renewal. It's a journey from ancient cycles of rest to the complex neural ballet that happens in our brains every single night. It's a reminder that sometimes the most productive thing we can do is to simply let go, close our eyes, and surrender to this ancient, miraculous process. So the next time you lay your head on the pillow, remember, you're not just plugging into one of nature's most brilliant inventions, a nightly gift of healing and discovery. Thanks for watching.